Heyo. I'm going to try to go a little solo stream here today. Lewis is not with us, but I'm here and I'm gonna try my darndest. Damn it. Let me post that I'm live. So bear with me. I know nobody's immediately here just yet, but you know, I'll do it. God damn it. I'll do it live, damn it. Let's see. Let me ping everybody in Discord. I'll do live. Don't want Lewis's thing here. I just want to say we're live for some market review and to check in on our 100 wax moves. Just me today. This is feeling sick. Boom. Hold up, you're about to tag everyone? Yeah, that's good. Everyone who's part of the stream ping server. All right. There we go. All right. Let me jump over to maybe oh, you know what? Let me try something here. If I drag this down and then change this to my web. Okay, it's still looking at that one. Hold on, I can get this web thing to find the other one. Or let's see, what if instead let's see if I drag this back in line here. What if instead I pull this guy down? Okay, I see. Still doing it live. So if you are looking, I'm trying to set up a way that I can share my screen while also being able to access the chat. So let me figure this damn thing out. I want to use my webcam. I'm doing a window capture. There it is. Ah, yes. And stream Chrome. There we go. Done. All right. And now if I full screen this, boom, look at that. Perfect. And I should be able to, yep. And I can jump back over and read the chat. Excellent. All right. I'm gonna go live today without Lewis. By the way, Paul. Yeah, you and people who are live. I'm just like waiting for people to roll in. Just made a little post saying I'm live. What you got there? Some kind of gummies? Can I get a gummy? Paul's off screen with gummies. Thanks, baby. Yeah, I'll help. All right. Yeah, since Lewis is out today, I wanted to just do a quick. Let me eat these gummies before I start talking. But I wanted to do a quick overview of the market, check in on our 100 wax, and then just poke around the Alcor swap one more time, just to kind of like hammer that shit in. Those are good gummies. All right. But first things first. Let me open a couple new tabs here. I can do Alcor. Let's also add Taco. We already have the chart. And maybe DeFi box. We've kind of been like straying away from there now that we're not really using them to do our hedge position anymore. But actually, I don't think we need DeFi box for the reason I just said. But yeah, okay. Here we go. I'm gonna take a drink here. and a toke, and then I'm going to get right into some charts. Beautiful. All right. Since Luce isn't here, I'm really not that great at telling if people are in or not, so I'm going to start anyway, and you can always just watch the video on demand. So today I'm going to start by looking at the market. This last week, when we looked at the market last week, we saw that we were kind of like closing right at kind of a pretty important resistance level if we're looking at the weekly chart. So let's start on the weekly chart as well. So we'll go down to the 1 week. And here we go. Right now I'm on wax. So let's jump back to Ethereum. That's where we usually start. I'm going to hide our little ranges. And here we are. All right. So last week we were kind of like right here is the last week's close. It had kind of like pushed above this top level, which, you know, this top level would be, I would consider this kind of a resistance level, where the last time when we fell and then came back up, and you see kind of like a similar two large candles side by side like that, they were side by side and failing to close right above this level. This time we did get a little higher than that, but we still, you know, failed to close a full candle above that level. Let me see. That level is our red zone here, the red line. And then again, the way we've been like kind of charting, it was like red, orange, green. This is kind of one range, and then the next one down, green, orange, red being the second like lower range that we had been in, you know, from right here, this whole section. And then here we broke out of that, and now we've been stuck inside this one. We're trying to break out of it last week, not really succeeding there. Well, I don't remove those. And then we have, you can see like the last week's close is this candle here. Not a very strong close. Doesn't really instill a lot of bullish sentiment to me, but either way, that's what the close is. So kind of giving the impression on the weekly that we're losing a bit of strength. You can see here the unbalanced volume selling off, continuing to move down. But also, I'm sorry, this was stock RSI kind of selling off, moving down to the oversold would be outside of this blue range. Still got plenty of room to get there. So still room to move down further. Obviously also room to move up. But you can see the blue line here is leading the orange line, meaning that we're currently still trending downwards. When the blue line is on the opposite side, then you can see we'll be pushing up, is usually the case with the RSI. And lastly, I'm looking at the unbalanced volume here. Unbalanced volume seeming to be climbing, but also the price is climbing, so that's not uncharacteristic of anything. I want to see unbalanced volume climbing when price is flat, or even if price is sinking, as a bullish kind of divergent signal. What we're also seeing here is that the unbalanced volume isn't really making new higher highs. So you see we did kind of retest the same level as we had before. I'm going to turn off the eye here to turn off all the lines I've drawn. But we did retest around this range here, where the unbalanced volume was actually higher. So we're pretty much, I mean, we did push slightly higher on spot price, but we did not make the same high on unbalanced volume. I would still consider this the unbalanced volume is falling, and falling unbalanced volume tends to mean bear trend is still active. So let me double check back here. So now that we're looking at that, let's look also at the general market. So the SPY and the QQQ, which SPY is for, as I always fucking say, SPY is for the S&P 500, and the QQQ is for the NASDAQ. Here's the QQQ. The QQQ is actually looking a little bit more bullish in the weekly term, but also very, very overbought. And also here you can see retesting old resistance levels right now, but also, you know, pushing a little bit higher on unbalanced volume. This is a little bit more of a mixed signal. This could indicate a little bit more of a bullish onset, but still, you know, still very much overbought right now, looking to cool off a bit. Very likely going to not close above this current resistance level here. Let's see if we have any lines drawn here. We don't. Let's draw that line out. So to draw a straight line on TradingView, I'm just going to come here, use this little over caret, and then look for a horizontal line. And then I'm going to choose kind of like right where I want that line to be. So I want it to be touching basically the peaks of as many candles as possible, peaks or valleys. So then, for example, like here it was acting as kind of a support, and then over above that, kind of a resistance. So you have a bit of a range that this would be trading in. Let's look a little further back. Similarly over here, this was already acting as a resistance level on the way up, where it first rejected back down to the strength bands before we broke out a bit, kind of still very much hovering at this as a resistance before kind of breaking out and moving on to the actual peak of the market. And then it acted as our first line of defense too. When we first started selling off, you see we kind of like bounced here for the first time before failing and turning this now into resistance. Like an SR flip is the term for that, turning support into resistance or resistance into support. SR flip usually will indicate a strengthening of the trend that's been flipped. So at this point, you would say the support level of this bar has flipped to resistance once we closed in full weeks below it, which had not happened until this point. You can see this week, there was days where we were trading below this point, but the whole week is closing within the line. Next week also days maybe we were trading below it, but the full week closing on the line. And then this being the first week where we're closing below the line. So this being the SR flip moment. So we flipped the support level here to resistance back in April of 2022. And then, continued the sell-off before retesting that now resistance level in August, failing to close above it. And here we are again now, retesting again. It is likely that this resistance holds based on our SRSI being quite overbought, and also based on the rest of the macro picture. So the SQQQ, I'm sorry, not SQQ, just the QQQ, the NASDAQ is heavily weighted by the tech sector, and the tech sector has had some pretty substantial earnings this last few weeks, like Google and Apple both outperforming their projections. And those companies are very large portions of these indexes. So when those companies have a good day, the entire index seems to have a good day. So I think we're seeing a little bit more of this bullishness looking on the QQQ than what we would see on the SPY, which is the S&P 500, which also includes those tech sectors, but has less weight allocated to them, so their movement doesn't affect this index quite as aggressively. And here we can actually see a lot less of that bullish kind of like questionable, is this going to keep breaking out? Here we can also do our line draw. We're going to take a look. I didn't mean to drop it there, but let's take a look. We want it to touch, like the other one, we want it to touch the tops of these candles. And then trying to hit like kind of as many candles where we're bouncing as possible, to kind of, the more bounces that we see on a line that we're drawing, the more strength that line has as a resistance or a support level. So this one, getting a decent bounce kind of here, then kind of failing here, but then this very much a resistance, very strong resistance there. And similarly to the SPY, it also was our support level when we first kind of retested below the strength band, trying to sell off here all the way back in October 2021. So we're looking for kind of this range as a resistance level. This is the top of that range, I'd say. The bottom of the range is more likely around here, where we're kind of in the center of these two guys. We're kind of like right, also similarly like dissecting these bands, and now you can see very much being rejected there. If we look closer to, you can see these candles wicked basically right to these lines before not being able to find any buyers higher than that price. So this is still acting as quite a strong resistance. We are also overbought, so looking to kind of cool off again. And again, on balance volume here, very clearly not climbing. So SPY showing us that, we got we got kind of like a sort of a flip here. We are looking, the strength bands are flipping green. We do have a bull print on the indicator, that the custom indicator here, the trading buddy indicator. Bull prints on the weekly chart like this are very bullish in my experience. I mean, let's look at this chart. The last time we got a bull print, we had a massive run up. The time before that, huge run up. It's very rare to get a bull print, especially when we're in like a green strength band has flipped to green. So like here we got our bull print, but we're still in the red, so we might be a little less eager to act on this. But once we're flipping to this green and you can see that it actually bounced there, I would be very much like, yeah, it's go time to buy. And we are seeing, we got this push above, we got the bull print now, we have the green. So now what we're looking for is a bounce above the strength band before I would say it's time to kind of ape in, and mostly informed by, we're a little oversold. We are looking to sell off a bit here. The last part of this picture that really helps to add kind of like bias to my short kind of outlook position here is looking at the US dollar. So if we look for the symbol DXY, that is the not stocks, you don't go to all DXY, you're looking for the US dollar currency index. So this is a metric that tracks the US dollar in terms of like its value internationally. So as the US dollar gains value, usually you would see the equity markets kind of selling off. So the DXY is generally trading in inverse with the equity markets. Here you can actually see also, even if something is oversold, it can flatline oversold. So it's interesting to see, we were oversold basically right when we got our bear print, and we stayed at 100% oversold pretty much all the way. This is, what is that, January? This is almost 2 months that we're sitting entirely oversold and still pushing down. So finally it did get like ease off. We got a little bit of a retest of, the strength band is usually where we're retesting to. We didn't even make it all the way up there, and we're now pushing down again, not all the way to 100% oversold before we're now climbing on the DXY. So we are getting a little bit of a bounce here. The DXY moving up again, like I was saying, this move up would also put more pressure on equities sinking. So the crypto market, the stock market losing more value as the DXY climbs. And the reason for that would be that as dollars get more value, people exit their equity positions and want to hold dollars. That's more and more true lately, especially given the fact that last week's FOMC meeting also brought with it, or I'm sorry, last week was the CPI report, which showed inflation still on the rise but slowing down a bit. The previous week's FOMC meeting bringing up federal interest rates by 0.25%. Making it relatively lucrative to hold cash currently. Without doing too much due diligence, I'd like to look, if I look up like money market rates. So money market rates. And let's see what like currently we can find for rate savings account. Sure, let's follow this one. Here we go. Yeah, this is kind of what I was looking for. So you can see here like pretty major banking institutions like US Bank offering really high interest rates. This one does have a minimum deposit of $25,000, but then you do have quite a few of these with high interest, no minimums, a dollar minimum, like the very, very accessible to earn this amount of yield. And you're earning this yield in cash, on cash. These banks are FDIC insured unless you choose one that isn't. But you can, US Bank is FDIC insured. Western Alliance is FDIC insured. So you can see they'll even note here deposits are insured by the FDIC up to applicable limits. The FDIC applicable limit is $250,000 per account. So you can open, these are like you could open this FDIC insured account, put $1,000 into this, right now and earn over the next year 5.5% in the cash. So by the end of the year, your $1,000 would be, $1,050.05. And so you're basically able to earn pretty high interest on cash, low risk exposure. Because even if Western Alliance Bank goes bankrupt, because there are quite a few banking what is it called, banking, like there's a bit of a banking crisis, I would say, especially in smaller banks. If this bank were to suffer such a crisis, the Federal Reserve steps in and takes over. You as a user, like as a depositor in an account like this, would probably not even notice if this bank went out of business, because assuming that you didn't go over $250,000 in your deposit, the FDIC would step in, make sure that day-to-day operations within the bank continue to resume, and that your funds are still accessible. Another aspect of money market accounts is that they don't have vesting terms, unless otherwise specified. So with an account like this, in our example, if you had supplied $1,000, like you deposit into this account, and like let's say at the end of the month you need that money for rent, you can withdraw it again, and there isn't a hold, there isn't a maturity term. So again, cash is becoming pretty like competitive with some of the equity assets out there, like certain stocks that are paying a dividend. A 5% annual yield on a dividend is pretty solid. I'd say like 8 to 10% is kind of what I would target if I'm looking for a portfolio comprised of dividend yield as my main source of profit from that portfolio. But 5% is pretty fucking close to that. And if I can make that yield in that 5%, like my target yield, without exposing my money to the volatile potential price action of the stock asset that is generating that yield, where instead now I'm just using cash to make the cash, that becomes more and more attractive to me, especially if I am somebody who isn't interested in speculatively growing the value of my cash, but rather I'm interested in maintaining the wealth that I've built over my lifetime. So there's quite a few investors out there who are deleveraging or vesting rather from certain equity positions into cash to pursue much safer and relatively high yield positions, such as what you can see offered at all these money markets here. So that's definitely something to keep in mind as the Federal Reserve raises interest rates. So like for example, this Western Alliance Bank, they're paying you, what this means is they're paying you 5.5%, 5.05%, sorry. They're paying you that amount of money to borrow your money to use within their banking ecosystem. So obviously, as a bank, they have access to borrow federal money directly from the Federal Reserve. But because the Federal Reserve's interest rates are rising and rising and rising, and at this point, I think it's at 6.25% for federal interest rate, when this bank goes to borrow money from the Federal Reserve, they would pay the Federal Reserve 6.25 or 6.5, I forget what it actually is, percent for that money, when they could just borrow it from me and only pay me 5%. So the reason why you're seeing these money market account rates going up so high in recent times is because the cost of borrowing money on a federal level has climbed so aggressively uh, in the process of the Federal Reserve trying to rein in inflation. So, with all of those things in mind, we're looking at the DXY right now. So this is the dollars kind of value. You can see it is also on the oversold side. It's looking like in the RSI, it's looking like it wants to push up further, or it's at least currently has momentum that's moving upwards. So we are looking, or I am looking for in the next couple weeks for the DXY to probably retest in an aggressive scenario, retest all the way up to the strength band. In a less aggressive scenario, I would say retest kind of to here where we kind of were rejected last time, and I'm drawing this line out to be kind of the bottom of this candle here. So if we do push up over the next few weeks, over the next week from from where we are right now, 102 to 104, then during that same time I would also expect to see crypto markets and equities like stocks falling. What's going on, DNA? I'm solo streaming right now, just trying to like get a quick market overview and jump around here, trying to watch the chat and do everything at the same time. But thanks for joining me, man. I just wanted to do that because I do want to adjust our position in our 100 wax investment, and I don't want to do that off air. So even though Lewis isn't feeling well today and not with us, I am going to attempt to kind of fly solo for a minute. So again, I'm going to toggle back here to the market. I'm going to look at Ethereum. Ethereum, we're looking at the weekly still. I'm going to kill some of these lines. Let's get a little closer now and take a look at the daily chart and see what we're expecting for the like upcoming days. We are a bit on the oversold side now. It looks like we're kind of climbing again. It looks like the RSI is flipping back, but we're also, like we're saying earlier, we're not really seeing a climbing on balance volume. Like, sure, this is climbing, but so is the spot price. And then another thing to note here, even within just the last kind of macro picture of the daily chart here, so looking just back to January, you can see, you know, the price has climbed from like $1,200 to where we are now at 18. And that initial climb here from 12 to 1650 or so pushed our on balance volume to the same, like to the highest level it's been in this time frame that we're looking at right now. So that's actually kind of interesting because as the price has, as the on balance volume has kind of cooled off, and what that generally, very simplified, what that means is as money is continuing to kind of cooling off means money is leaving this market a little bit. So as the money has been leaving the market, the price has been climbing. That's generally a bearish divergence, and you would expect to see the market favor the bearish side when the unbalanced volume is not making highs along with the spot price. So we are seeing that on the daily. So that's going to help bias my opinion here that we're moving short. The other thing is we are also flipping the strength band. We got our bear print on the daily chart. So, you know, if the it's interesting right now to see also the DXY and the crypto market and the SPY all are climbing a little bit. Let's go back to the DXY. Oh, I don't have that one saved. Bummer. DXY. So we're looking at the US dollar index again. So you can see here in the last few days, climbing kind of aggressively even. And then same with Ethereum, getting a little bit of a push. Generally, in such an aggressive DXY climb, I would expect to see a little bit more of an aggressive sell-off. Like I said, last week we were looking at a very confusing kind of picture. This week the clarity is coming in a little bit more. I'm a little bit more sure that we are still in a bearish trend and looking to sell off a little bit further. So with that in mind, let's look at Wax. After I check the chat really quick. Oh, fascinating. Okay, kick ass, dude. Let me show while I got you fascinated, DNY, let me show you some fucking stuff that I got into this week on. Actually, that's so off topic. Let me finish this. Like kind of like usually Lewis would reel me in. But yeah, so we are looking at Ethereum right now. Bitcoin's going to be doing basically the exact same thing. Ethereum more or less moves as a delta of the Bitcoin price. Generally speaking, I've been watching Ethereum because most of us in Wax are invested in what would be known as altcoins, Wax being, you know, our main example here. But I'm going to stick with the Ethereum chart here. So again, what I'm looking for in the coming days is a potential retest of the strength band. So Ethereum pushing from where we're at 1825, maybe to around 1900 before being rejected and moving down further. I believe we're going to move up a bit just to get this RSI kind of back into the not oversold range before most likely losing support and falling further. It'll draw us a little line here. Oh, we already have our lines here. So you can see this would be where we're at. We're looking to flip now into resistance. So you can see this line has acted as support for a long time. A long time's not relative. We're on the daily chart. So each of these candles is just a day. But basically, once we were resistance for quite a while here, we're bouncing around all these days, capping off right at this level. Once we finally broke this, it became the support right here. Wait, didn't want to move that. Right here, we kind of bounced on it. And from here forward, I would say it's a very, this is the support resistance flip. We flipped this resistance into support. We got a nice little rocket above, like straight through what I had marked out as support or resistance levels, which that top red line was based on the top peak of the last breakout. So we did kind of break above that here, very short lived, but we did. So this would be a new higher high. But again, when we zoom out and look at the on balance volume, we actually made a lower peak on the on balance volume versus the last time the price action was the same. So you see, here's this price action and here's the on balance volume metric. At the same time here, we definitely got a little bit of a higher price on the spot market, but the on balance volume being lower. That's again bearish in my experience. I would expect that to help bias my opinion, or it does help bias my opinion short. And then here you see, as we sold off, this support, this which now became support, held up as support. We retested to the middle band, to like the strength band, like we usually do, kind of fell back, still found support here. We never closed a full day below, pushed, up to the middle strength band, got a little bit of a push higher than that, fell back to the support. And then you can see it actually acted as support pretty aggressively for that day. We didn't get much movement here for this candle, and then it did lose that support, and now we're below it. I do think we're retesting this range, and we will likely be rejected here. So in the coming days, I think we're going to push back to about 1850. We might push even up to here, which would be 1920 or so. But I expect us to be rejected there. I do think that's a move that's just going to be playing out in order to make this, the RSI, kind of like less oversold. But like we saw before, you can flatline on the RSI for days and days or weeks at a time. So you could see, if I jump back to the weekly really quick, on the weekly, I think on the QQQ chart, we have a few examples of like a flatlining RSI, where even though we, here, let's move closer to this. Even though we got our bear print and we were already oversold, we continued to push down while just staying 100% oversold. And this is a full month. Like, this is like 4 or 5 weeks. So it can flatline. It's not like, oh, once we've touched 100%, it's going to bounce. But, sometimes it does. I do think we are going to find that resistance line. We're going to retest, and we're going to by next week see that our market did not close above resistance, and we're likely going to trend back down to weekly support levels around 1550 or so. So 1650 to 1550 is kind of what I'm looking at right now. And now, with all of that in mind, let's jump over to our 100 wax that we're playing with over on the Wax blockchain. So first things first, I'll show you what I'm doing with my own wallet, just because I do also expect, Wax is falling a little bit in price. So I'm going to jump to the Wax market here. You can see on Wax, this is the weekly. Let's go to the daily. Now, each one of these candles is 1 day. Here's kind of our support, and we're looking for this to turn into resistance as well. It has failed, so it now needs to breach back above this to continue moving up, but we're also very oversold. Here we're seeing, on balance volume flatlining and climbing. This is relatively bullish, and that's kind of been the case for a long time. So you can see, here's all the way back to where the market was selling off. If we look at, from the time we got here, all of this on balance volume has been climbing while the spot price has been falling. Generally speaking, that indicates like an accumulation. But Wax is also a much smaller market cap, so it's hard to make those generalizing statements directly from just these metrics. But you can see Wax is falling a bit, and I'd like to buy some Wax if we get down around like the 5 cent, like basically in this range. So what I've done in order to buy this Wax is I've created a liquidity pool. If I go to my liquidity pools, you can see here, I have a liquidity pool that holds 8,200% of the liquidity of the Wax USDT pair. If I zoom in, it's showing it so high because it's out of range right now. And so it's 8,000% of the in-range balance is how I understand this calculation. But you can see here, This white line is the spot price. So this is what Wax is currently trading at. It's about 5 cents, 5.7351 cents. My liquidity position is setting a range between 5.63 and 5.7. So very tight range. And what this is going to do is as the price of wax falls within my range, so once we fall to 5.6 cents per wax, I will start my liquidity, which is currently 100% comprised of USDT. You can see I have $401 worth of USDT, or 401 units worth of USDT, currently worth $396 because USDT is not quite at peg on the Wax blockchain. But I have $401 ready to start buying. And once the price falls below my lowest limit, so once we go from, we're at 5735, once we go to 5701, I'm starting to buy. And by the time we reach 5633, I'm finished buying, and 100% of this position will be in Wax. I'll not only have all my USDT converted to Wax, I'll also have earned trading fees from all the trade volume that made that conversion possible. And then I'll come and I'll remove the liquidity. That's my goal here. So I'm leaving this position open, and the idea is to use USDT to buy Wax as Wax falls in value. That's why I've made it such a tight little stop area here. And putting all this volume or all this USDT into the order books has an effect in the swap market of making the USDT token much more liquid. So if somebody were to come and buy USDT, and I'm doing Wax USDT, which was bridged in by the Wax core team through the Wax Cloud wallet and is bridged from Ethereum. This other token that you see, USDT, is issued by the Alcor team and is brought over from EOS and is bridged over right here on this bridge tab. So if you do have USDT, not the Wax USDT, but regular USDT, you can choose that as your bridge token, and you can move from Wax into any of these other chains with that. That is not possible with Wax USDT. Wax USDT, you'd have to go to the cloud wallet to do the bridge from there into the Ethereum mainnet. This bridge is much cheaper to use because EOS is much cheaper to use than Ethereum at the moment. So there's the reason why you're seeing maybe two different USD tokens. But what I was trying to show you is if I now am someone who wants to buy USDT and let's say Wax USDT with a pretty substantial amount of Wax, like you could do like 1,000 Wax now, the amount of price impact should be relatively mitigated, and you should get close to 56 because of all the liquidity that's in this pool now. On the side of selling USDT for Wax. So you can see $56.96. I'm getting 56.08 USDT. That's pretty solid. I could probably do like 5,000 Wax even and still get a very reasonable rate at the Alcor swap. Because mostly because I've put up all this liquidity. But we'll see here in a second. 283. There's barely an impact. Obviously the impact is in terms of price here, but you can click down below, see the multi-route, and you can see 100% of your trade is going directly through the pool where I've supplied all that liquidity. Same is true though of USDT on EOS. I think the owners of the Alcor marketplace contracts have actually bridged over something around $20,000 in USDT to make this liquidity depth also quite available. And there you go. You can see here, it is also now going through a single pool, and you would get 278. Right now, you're getting a better deal in USDT, in Wax USDT, in my opinion, because these tokens are pegged 1-to-1 to the dollar on their respective native chains. And so if your goal is to swap into the USDT token and then bridge it out of Wax, you're getting almost like $8 more on USDT. Of course, that's going to get eaten when you go ahead and sign your transaction fee on Ethereum, because Ethereum transactions are fucking expensive. Let me see what DNA is saying. I'm playing Wax and Funko Packs, buying, selling. Ooh, nice. Yes, that's a good move, dude. So you're saying when wax dumps, you're selling your packs for more wax, and when wax climbs, you're buying packs with the wax. That's a clever idea because Funko packs tend to sell based on their US dollar value because they are sold mostly in credit card sales. So Funko NFTs, specifically packs, I'd say, are almost like a stable coin that, or not necessarily stable coin, but are almost like pegged to their drop price in dollars. So if we go to packs, you can see this will probably be around $10 or $11 for the what are they called? For the small packs if they're trading at like um drop price. So there you go, $12. So they usually sell, for like $11 to $12. This is about what you'd be paying if you're also accounting for the fees when you buy this pack with credit cards. So if the price of wax starts to fall, these packs will likely still trade for around $12, but equivalent in whatever that amount of wax is. So I like your strategy. DNA. That's definitely not too bad. Let's see. You're buying. Oh, I maybe I got that wrong. You're buying in dollars, aka Funko drop. Okay. And addition next from the drop. Take wax. Oh, so you're doing like a little flipping play. I like that too. Yeah, that's definitely, I mean, Funko, I would say, is the cornerstone of the wax trading market in general. Like if we look at the top collections on wax, it's, Funko. Oh, there's a couple new ones, but Funko. Like a lot of the volume on this blockchain comes from Funko Pops. And like I said, a lot of their sales are direct credit card sales. So people who buy these packs value them in terms of dollars, not in terms of wax. So that definitely creates a nice opportunity for people who do trade, in terms of wax to kind of increase their wax. That's a great segue actually into our 100 wax investment that I've been managing with this wallet, because our goal is also to make more wax, not necessarily pay attention to the US dollar price for this. So I'm going to sign out of my wallet and let's poke into the DeFi wallet that we made to do this 100 wax, and let's take a look at how we've managed to navigate this market in the last week. So I'm signing in right now. I know I don't think you can see the pop-up window. There it goes. Okay. So now that I've signed in here, I'm going to go to the pools. Here we have a few liquidity pools we built last week. Let's see what's happened. So our in-range position, this is our hedge. We initially we took 50 wax. We used it all to spot buy USDT, and then we took the USDT and supplied it asymmetrically to this liquidity pool, meaning we did open a position like this, new position. We chose our counterpart as USDT. I think it was Wax USDT. We did this before USDT, the new one, came online. And then what we did was we took like our position and we went like this. Let me zoom in. So by default, I've just clicked here 5.5. So this is drawing my liquidity range to be 5% in either direction. If I do supply liquidity like that, $1 would be required to be counterparted with its wax counterpart. So what we did is we supplied wax like this. We'll say $1, one, and we were actually a little bit lower than that, like that. So there you go. We then supplied our dollars, which 50 wax at the time I think was like around $5, we'll say. So then we supplied $5 from this in this price range, where we only started to buy back the wax that we used to buy those dollars once the price fell into our range. Currently, the price is in our range. You can see here we have now 22 wax, $2.14. So we're actually a little bit like a third of the way into wax now. If I zoom in here, we can see our range is actually relatively wide. So we will be supplying liquidity between 8 cents and 3 cents. The reason we chose this range is also based on our chart reading here. So when we look at these two red lines that we've drawn, where we've basically been trading in for over a year now, those two lines are basically, this is 5 cents. So the floor here has been just above 4 cents. And then the peak over here was going up to around, above 8, around 9. So what we've done is we've set our liquidity range to kind of reflect that range. Let me zoom out. Where now we are, at 8 cents. What this means is if wax reaches 8 cents, all of this wax will have sold and will be 100% US dollars. If wax falls below 3 cents, all of our US dollars will have been used to buy wax, and this position will be 100% in wax. So that, since that is the range we've been trading in, that's the range we set for our liquidity, and that's the range in which that liquidity has been moving, which is why we've also been earning these fees. So we've actually earned 0.26 wax and 1.4 cents. We're going to leave this position alone. This is our hedge. It's working as intended. The other positions we have are currently out of range here. We have 2 positions in honey, and we were looking to, let's take a look. We were looking to sell this honey. So it's hard for me to understand what this price means when it's denominated in honey like this. Up here, you can click the toggle and swap, and now it's telling me the price in wax. So what we were doing is we have honey, and we wanted to sell the honey between 2.57 and almost 3 wax. The price of honey is not near that right now. So our position is out of range, and we're not actually earning any trading fees while we're out of range. So I think this week the move will be to take both of our out of range positions and withdraw this liquidity. So start with that. I'm going to say remove liquidity first from this one. Sign that. That position will close. It'll disappear from my list here. And then by default, because I closed a wax honey pool, all other wax honey pool positions that have opened drop to the bottom of my organization list of all my liquidity pools. I'm also going to close this one. So you saw the last one we looked at. This one has a different range. This one we were looking to sell between 2.5 wax all the way up to 10 wax, because it's not really pumping that aggressively, and there's no reason, I think, to just like sit there and hope for it to eventually hit there. Let's not. So I'm going to also manage this one and withdraw this liquidity. And I think I still like the idea of using our liquidity pool to sell our honey into more wax as the price of honey climbs. So let's just recreate these positions, but with a closer entrance, or with a closer range that's closer to the current spot price. So to do that, I'm going to say new position. I'm going to choose honey as the counterpart to the wax, like so. And then I'm going to start by just saying 5%. Just so that it draws for me, 5% of either side of this pool, nice and tight. And then now I can zoom in. I'm going to toggle back to honey like here, so I can see the denomination of my prices in wax. Currently, honey is trading for 2.2 flat, and I'd like to sell, by 2.32 maybe. So let's make this price 2.2075, so that we're outside of the range right here. So if I do that, there we go. It does have to like adjust based on what it allows. So it adjusted to 2.06. Now if I list my honey, I only need 0.1 wax as a counterpart to this position. Rather than make this even tighter, I think I am going to go source this 0.1 wax to participate in this position. So I'm going to jump over to the Taco Swap page. I'm also going to log into my DeFi wallet here, and then let's claim some of the rewards that we've earned from the remaining pools that we're participating in. Let me do that. Whoops. And I signed into the wrong wallet. First.ftw is my gaming wallet. I'm looking for DeFi1.ftw. So there it is, DeFi1, FTW, signing in. Yeah, I don't know, DNA. I like your flip strategy. That's definitely a good way to play the market. But yeah, let's take a look here. So DeFi wallet, I'm going to click on liquidity, and we can see we still have a position in the Wombat pool. The rewards for the honey pool have ended. That's why we pulled from the honey pool. And that's why we have the honey liquidity on Alcor now instead, because we can supply honey tokens that we had in the pool without having to add the wax tokens. And if we think the price of honey is going to fall because there's no longer a liquidity mining opportunity for it, where people are earning, earning an APR for supplying this liquidity, the thought is maybe they would sell, and we would like to, capture the wax counterpart we have now, pull the wax aside, and just supply the honey. So let's see what we've earned really quick. We're going to finish this honey transaction. So we've earned 74 Wombat tokens. Let's claim those. And I'm going to sell these into wax and use them as a way to source the wax for the liquidity position I'm opening here. So on the swap page, I'm going to, choose wax, push that to the receiving side, and then I'm going to choose Wombat on my spending side. This is 2.8 Wombat wax tokens. We made that in 1 week, 2.8, 1 week of supplying liquidity. So that's not too bad, considering the amount of liquidity we've supplied to make that 2.8 wax is only 134 wax. So I'm just multiplying 67 by 2. So it's about 134 wax is making us close to 3 wax per week. That's pretty solid. That's going to be about 110% almost APR that we're earning. Great. I'm staying in this pool. It's still good for another over a month, so we can reassess next week again. I still am a fan of Wombat. I think they build good products. I think they are in this space for the long term. So I'm happy to supply liquidity and earn over 100% APR for doing so. I am selling off the APR I'm earning to do other positions like we're seeing right now. I also haven't seen this little, it looks like there's some kind of gift. I'm going to click on this. I don't know what this is. Get the chance to win NFTs by providing liquidity for these token pairs, Taco and Wax. Interesting. So this is like a liquidity pool that's being incentivized by NFTs. View NFT rewards. NFT supply. It says 5 NFTs per day. Okay. I'm interested in this. I mean, I have to look into it a little bit deeper. I wonder if Taco and Wax, does this still pay, is there a Taco Wax incentivized pool? Let me take a look at this. Takes a second to load on the meal tab unless I immediately clicked staked, because there's so many pools here now. But once it loads, I'm going to type in Taco. Taco Wax does have an incentive, 40% APR incentivized pool. So I wonder if adding it to the meal tab automatically credits me in this NFT rewards, or if I would have to choose to supply to one or the other. I'm not sure about that, but I've never seen this. NFT section. It's kind of cool. Personally, I still like the liquid side of being able to claim a reward and immediately swap it. So I'm not sure. I'm also not in the Taco Wax pool at the moment. Taco tokens, tokenomics, like their total supply never made sense to me, and I'm still unsure why they haven't reduced it or something. I don't know. There's weird things about Taco that keep me at arm's length, although I do believe Taco is very much a part of the wax space, very much active in the community, and they're not looking to rug pull or screw me over. So I might actually look into doing this. This is kind of an interesting thing, but the pool is very deep, 677,000 wax. So this is over 1.2 million wax. And let me check, is that equivalent to what it is on the meal side? There's no way those are separate pools. If this pool also has 667,000 wax on the wax side, then I would be pretty certain that adding the pools to the meal tab also adds them to the, yeah, see, it's the same pool. So these are the same amounts. I'm very interested in trying this out a little bit later, but yeah. So I guess if you haven't seen that, there is a little NFT section here, and it looks like if you supply liquidity for Wax Taco, you might be in the running for winning NFTs, up to 5 NFTs per day for participants in the pool. If we look at this pool's leaderboard, though, there's quite some whales in here. So I feel like hopefully Taco is disqualifying itself from this, but even the next runner up here, this is like 80,000 wax worth of liquidity. So you'll have some stiff competition, but I guess if you're able to earn both the yield from this pool and the potential for winning some NFTs along the way, that's kind of cool. Nice little addition to that. But now that I've finished rambling about that, I do have some wax in my wallet. I have enough to open this position, so I'm going to do that now. You can see here when I mouse over, now I would be setting my liquidity range between basically spot price 0.03% above spot price, so we'll be in range. And then by 5.5% below, we'll have sold all of our honey. So if honey falls to, or if honey climbs rather to 2.3283 by next week, this position will have 100% honey composition. So let's open it. The other thing is I always want my liquidity to be within range. Any liquidity that I own that's out of range, see now they say all of these are in range. Any liquidity I own out of range is going to do nothing. It's just going to sit there and not be earning me any trading fees. So again, I wanted to readjust the positions we had in honey to move them back into range so that we'll be farming some yield this week. Okay, then the other two positions, this is our hedge, and then this one, I think this one also we made because there was a good opportunity to arbitrage into USDC, where, for example, I wonder if that still exists, where USDC, we know this token is backed and actually USDC on the Ethereum mainnet, but the liquidity is very low on Wax. So there's quite often where we get a pretty massive arbitrage opportunities. So even right now, let's see, it's 57 cents worth of wax buys me 58 cents worth of wax USDT. I wonder how scalable this is. So if I'm doing $5.67, do I get $5.70 or 80 cents? Let's see. I do. So I'm making that same, eventually, obviously, the liquidity runs out. There's no way I can go all the way up to like 56. Here, we're probably not going to be getting a good deal anymore. But even with 100 wax, we're getting a pretty substantial immediate boost. In terms of dollar value, this is actually still an arbitrage. So yeah, not bad. But that's why we opened that position. If I go back here and take a look at it, you can see we're actually almost entirely in wax now. So we opened this position, it was 100% USDC, and now it's almost 100% wax again. So instead of doing a swap, doing a position like this as liquidity, instead of doing it as a swap, is going to give me not only a better deal on my USDC for wax, but also pay me to make that liquidity available. So effectively what we're doing here is spot, like limit trading. This, you could consider this like a limit array, like, okay, between this limit price, buy or sell into this asset. And we're doing this type of trading while acting as market maker, never as market taker. Where when we are market taker, we have to pay the market taker fee. It's 0.3% for the liquidity pool sourcing, and the slippage impact. All of that stuff falls on the market taker and benefits the market maker. And now with asymmetric liquidity options, we can act as market maker to do our trading, like you saw on my yield farming wallet, where I have $400 USDC waiting to buy into wax at a little bit of a lower price. And instead of trying to place an order here on the market, just doing a limit order like that, I'm doing it with liquidity which makes the liquidity pools more viable for people who trade, but it also benefits me because it gives me the fees associated with all the trading that happens to shift my position from one asset into the other. The other thing to remember with this though is that, you know, for example, with our USDC position here, we're almost all the way in wax now. If that was our goal to just turn this into wax, we would need to manually remove the wax from this position before, you know, if the price were to climb again, if wax price starts to climb in terms of USDC, then this will start to sell off and refill my USDC balance. And it'll move back and forth until I, you know, remove the position. So that is a drawback between this type of trading versus limit trading on the market. So, you know, if I come here to cross chain and look at like Wax USDT, for example, with my $400 Wax USDT, I could come over here, you know, set a limit price like around where we're at right now. Yeah, got to scroll down. There you go. Set a limit price and show up with my 401 wax. And then I could just buy, you know, 5,811. Once this order fills, the wax is in my wallet. The USDT has been sold. I don't need to like close the position to realize this. So there is, you know, benefits to that as well. But of course, I also would have to wait for liquidity to start moving. And if we look at this depth, you can see very limited depth on either side of the spot price. So you can see no one's really looking to buy wax on this market until we drop down to, you know, like well below 5 cents here. So this is like, let's see, 0.4 cents. This is kind of where all the like orders are. And then no one's really looking to sell wax for USDT also like until around here, which is like almost 9 cents. So like right here, we're like, yeah, this is already 9 cents. Very little, like only $161 worth of liquidity on the order book there. Very, very thin order book. What that's good for, I mean, you know, it's not great for us if we're trying to trade and actually source these tokens. But what that is good for is for spot trading. So you can see like there's a 19% spread right now between the ask and the bid price. What that means is that I could come here and create an offer, you know, higher than this and create an offer lower than this, still have like an 18% spread and be both the top ask and the top bid, meaning that if anybody uses this marketplace to either buy or sell, they're going to be doing so from me. And then when people do this type of, it's also considered market making when you place a limit order onto an order book like that. So what you can do is, you know, place orders all the way up on this book as well as all the way up on this book. And then as the market price moves up and down and hits your orders, you know, if I, for example, sell some wax or buy some wax rather for 5.5 cents, I would then just take that wax and place it for sale at a price a little bit higher than where I had bought it from. And then that difference between the top bid and the top ask price, or the spread here, becomes my take home profit as the market maker in this situation. So that's another way you can play this market relatively easily, honestly, because there's very little liquidity. So with those $400 that I have, if I add, you know, a counterpart of a couple thousand wax, I could put up some liquidity on both sides of this book that isn't unrealistic to be filled within this marketplace, but that also gives me a pretty sizable spread. Just another option. So let's jump back to the pools, double check everything we've done, and be sure that we are happy with what we've done here. So you can see our honey position is already earning a couple fees here. We just opened this earlier in the stream, and it looks like some of the honey has been sold into wax, which is kind of what we're hoping for. We also earned some wax from that trade, and you know, as long as we stay in range, this is going to keep on cooking. Next week we're going to check in on this, see if we've sold our honey into wax, and then if we have, we might pull this liquidity and maybe we'll reset it with a new range to try to buy the honey back and earn fees in both directions here, kind of market make, but through the liquidity pool. Personally, I like the liquidity pool kind of market making better because most people who trade on this markets tend to do so on the swaps. Another really cool update that I feel like if you haven't been around or you haven't seen yet is that Alcor has updated their trade routing, where now you can, if I use USDC to buy Wombat token, for example, or here, let's just do Wombat to USDC, it will find me a route for this trade. So it's going to do Wombat into Wax, Wax into USDT, and then USDT into USDC. So it's doing all of that in one transaction now, similar to Wapaka's trade router, although this trade route will cap out at 3. So this is as big of a trade route as you will ever find. If you click this little settings icon up here, you can see here I have my max hops limited at 3. By default, I believe it's 2. And the reason for that is it makes it faster. If you only have to, if the router only has to find 2, then it's a performance thing. So this is going to find, for example, if I do the same trade now, I'm going to get 16 cents for my 74 because we're going directly from USD or from Wombat into Wax and Wax into USDC. But if I allow it to do an extra jump, instead of getting 16.86, I'm now getting 16.91. So I'm actually getting a better price for adding this additional step. And personally, I like to leave it at 3 and let the route tell me if there is a better path with more jumps versus let it or keep it limited to just the 2 jumps, which I do believe is the default. The other side of that is you can trade, any token into basically any token now. They don't have to have direct liquidity pairs, which that's awesome. So I don't even know what this FAM token is. And it'll find a route. Oh yeah, I'm still taking huge impact, but yeah, whatever. That's just another update from Alcor. I really like that they're now trade routing automatically. It's something that I'm desperately missing on the Taco swap still. Like the fact that I can't do Taco into, Taco probably has a lot of pools, but if I wanted to do like Wombat into something else, I'm now limited to only these pairs, which is only what Wombat is paired with directly on Taco Swap. I can't to say like Neon. It won't find Neon, even though Neon is available in a pool on Taco Swap. So if I were to replace Wombat with Neon, there you go. You can see there is Neon, but Neon is only paired with Wax, and so I can only choose Wax and Neon as the trading pair, and all of these trades go directly through the pool that you're choosing. Alcor is now, if I do Wax into Neon on Alcor, it is going to find me a route. There is a Wax Neon pool. It's probably just using that. Oh, it's not. Look at that. So it is actually going my Wax into Wax USDT, Wax USDT into USDC, and then USDC into Neon. So it is finding a better deal than, even though there is a direct pool for Wax Neon, it is going to route me in a better direction to give me a bigger payout, which is actually kind of cool because there's not that much liquidity for Neon on Alcor, but the liquidity that does exist is targeted to a specific range in which Neon tokens actually trade. So with much less liquidity, we're actually getting a pretty solid, like here for 50 Wax, I'm getting 5 Neon, while at the same time on DeFi Box, where there's much, much more liquidity for Neon, like way more. Let's see. 22,000 Wax worth of bilateral liquidity depth here. But let's see, if we do 50 Wax into Neon, I'm not even getting the same amount. Like I'm getting a worse deal here, even though the liquidity here is much deeper. You can also see here, and then it'll show you the trade route down below. Swap path. We're just going directly Wax into Neon. Because this pool is giving us this route is actually giving us a better deal, even though there's less Neon liquidity on Alcor. That's kind of the reason why I'm a big fan of this type of liquidity pool. Targeting liquidity makes it much, much more capital efficient. And as a liquidity provider, I want all of my value to be exposed to the trading volume, not just the small amount of it that is currently near the price. So by being able to define a price range for my liquidity, I'm actually able to tell it, use all of my money during this amount of trading, during any amount of trading within this range. And yeah, so based on all of that, I think the rest of the wax we have in our wallet here, 2.835, let's use that to try and buy something with the liquidity pool. So I'm going to, let's see, what do we want to buy? Let's try Wombat. Like I was saying, I like Wombat. So let's try and buy some Wombat. So we'll buy the Wombat. We'll do Wax and Wombat as our liquidity position. Again, I'm going to say 5% on both sides. I like to toggle this to Wax so I know what the Wax price of things are. And then, ooh, I love that sound. Hey, what's going on, NFT Gamer TV? Thanks for the raid. I'm kind of flying solo today. Lewis is feeling sick, so it's just me. I'm looking at Alcor right now, trying to create some positions and buy some right now I'm trying to buy some Wombat tokens, but instead of placing a limit order, I'm going to create a asymmetric liquidity pool that will start to purchase Wombat tokens in a specific price range. So let me jump back into that. Thanks for the raid, guys. So to start, I'm going to start over since we just got raided. So here we go. I'm in my wallet. I have a small amount of wax, not a whole bunch. I have 2.853 wax. I want some Wombat tokens. Right now, if I'm doing a swap on Alcor, wax to Wombat, it's going to give me this path. Oh, no, this path. So it's a direct trade. I get 73.12 Wombat tokens for my wax. That's gonna probably be similar to what I make on Taco Swap. Let's see. Almost certainly Taco Swap will be a better deal because Taco Swap has more liquidity depth. 735711. 731. So yeah, definitely a better deal on Taco Swap. But I am not trying to do a swap right now, which is taking a price impact. I'm going to be the market maker and place my position so that I'm buying into Wombat on the way down. So if I think, let's take a look really quick at Taco Swap. I'm going to bring up the chart here and take a look at the Wombat price. You can see in terms of wax, the Wombat price in 24 hours, we had a little bit of a drop here. Let's go to the week. There's the week. Okay, nice. So yeah, the week we are kind of up 2.3%. We let's say we want to, by the time, if we drop back to like this valley here, I'd like to have bought back some of this Wombat token. So let's say like between this little valley here at 03848, we'll call that 0385, and down here at 038, we'll say 8 flat. I want to buy Wombat tokens. So I can do that type of a trade directly on Alcor now by coming to the pool tab. I'm going to say new position. I'm going to choose Wombat as my counterpart to the wax. And then I'm going to up here toggle so that it denominates the value in wax rather than Wombat. That makes more sense to me. And now I'm going to click 5% just so that it brings it really close into the current spot price. I like to use the visual representation, so I'm going to zoom in and pan over. And now, like I said, I want my maximum price to be 0.385. It won't let me do 5 because my minimum price is going to be higher than that. So it's going to push it up above my minimum price. So I should start with my minimum price. I want it to do 0.038 flat as my minimum. And then I want it to say 0.385 as my maximum. I'm going to zoom in a little closer and take a look at how far we are from the spot right now. So I'm going to say, let's just click the plus. Okay, I'm cool with this. So now basically when I mouse over the graphic here, it's showing me that my liquidity range starts 0.5% below the current spot price. So you can see here minus 0.51%, and it ends 2.3% below that current spot price. So basically what I'm telling this pool to do is start buying Wombat tokens at 3.8703 wax per Wombat and finish buying Wombat tokens at 0.38013 wax per Wombat. And now you can see that the liquidity pool only needs wax because I don't have the range including above the spot price of Wombat. If I move above Wombat, like here, now adding this requires a counterpart also in Wombat token. But because all I have in my wallet right now is wax, I'm going to create this position from here completely asymmetrically out of the current range only with wax. So I'm going to say yes, create this position, and it will succeed, and it'll add it to my list of liquidity pool positions. And you can see, unlike these other three, this one is out of range, and so it's not actively supplying liquidity because the price isn't in my range. But next week we're going to come back, we're going to take a look and see, and if the Wombat price has fallen by next week back to below the lower limit of our position here, of our, if I toggle up here to wax, if we've fallen below 0.38, 100% of this liquidity will be in Wombat token. Of course, if it climbs beyond here, we'll never become in range and we'll never actually trade into Wombat. The other thing is we could fall below this range, go all the way into Wombat or partially into Wombat, depending on how far we fall, and then climb back out of the range. So by the time we check back next week, we might still be 100% in wax, but we might have also then earned some fees from the trading that happened while we were in range. So this liquidity position now is basically set up to buy into Wombat tokens and finish buying at 0.38 cents. There we go. So now for next week, here's kind of like the total overview of our 100 wax position. What's going on? Yo, thanks for the raid. Hey, just taking a look at Alcor right now. We're adjusting 100 wax position that we have, and kind of like going over how Alcor's new liquidity format works. But yeah, let's take a look. So next week we have in our taco pool, we have Wombat and wax tokens. This is the V2 style liquidity pool. We're supplying liquidity between 0 and infinity and in equal parts. So 67 wax is counterparted with 1741 Wombat. And without even looking it up, I know that 1741 Wombat is worth 67 wax because those parts must be equal to each other in order for this pool or this format of liquidity providing to function. So I can verify that really quick here. Wombat, and we'll say 1740, whatever, 1740, and there you go, 67. So we know for sure 1740 Wombat, 67 wax, and that's exactly what we expected. 1740, 1741, yeah, there you go. So this is our liquidity position for next week. If we go to the meal tab and I'm going to click on staked so it loads quicker, you can see that we're actually earning an incentive for supplying this liquidity. That incentive is paid out in Wombat tokens at a rate of 100 and almost 10% APR. So next week, again, we'll be able to come up to our wallet in the top right, go to account and rewards, and down below here, we'll see the rewards that we've earned, and we'll be able to claim those again. This week, we claimed almost 3 wax worth of rewards from this liquidity pool since last week. And then the other portion of this position is now over on Alcor. We have a position in wax USDC and wax. This is a stable coin, US dollar coin on the Ethereum blockchain, bridged over by the wax team. So you can actually use USDC, wax USDC, to bridge back into Ethereum if you're on the Wax Cloud wallet, which I guess I should show off. I keep saying that, and it's not super clear, I think. Wallet. I'm going to type in Wax Cloud wallet and visit and sign into my Cloud wallet really quick and show you how that works. So if you have USDT Wax USDT or USDC. Let me really quick use my two-factor here. And if you don't have two-factor authentication like enabled for your apps, you always should. That's a best practice in general. So there we go. When you're logged into your Wax Cloud wallet, on the left side, there is all these options. One of them is the token bridge above the NFT bridge. It's kind of hidden behind my little Wax icon here. But if you click on the token bridge, you can see the currently supported network Ethereum. You can then, connect a MetaMask wallet. So I have a MetaMask wallet here. So it doesn't show me the interface unless I connect. So fuck it, I'll connect. So I connected my MetaMask wallet. Obviously, I'm connected to my Wax Cloud wallet right now. If we scroll below here, you can see here are the Wax bridged tokens. So you can bridge here. We were looking at Wax USDC. So in this wallet, I actually have 13 cents or something like that. If I have this amount, I could then say convert to Ethereum. You'd click this button. You sign this transaction from your cloud wallet, and then there's a claim tab here. After some time has passed, it can take maybe like 10-15 minutes in my experience. You'll have a transaction here to claim the USDC on the Ethereum network, which requires a claim signature from your MetaMask wallet. Same goes in the opposite direction. You can use USDC from your MetaMask wallet and bridge that into Wax, and you'll receive Wax USDC into your wallet. The way this works is, you're connected to your MetaMask wallet, which I am currently connected here. You can see the address of it. And then you would add, if you have a balance in your wallet, I right now have 1 cent, absolutely not worth it. But if you had, let's say like $100 or something, you could, I don't have this balance, but you could say convert to Wax USDC. You'd click this, you would be prompted in MetaMask to sign the transaction and send the tokens, and then they will just arrive in your wallet. There is no claim section to bridging into the Wax blockchain. The claim is only for bridging back out. So that's what these tokens are. You can see there's Wax USDC, Wax DAI, Wax BTC, Wax BUSD, Wax ETH, Wax USDT, and Brawl. All of these tokens can be bridged from Ethereum's mainnet into the Wax blockchain and back. So that's what both of these pools are. Those types of bridged assets. We have USDC and USDT. The USDT position, this is our hedge. We want our wallet to earn more Wax over time. So we've set a position here where we are buying Wax all the way down to 3 cents with our US dollars, but we're also selling it anywhere above 8.2 cents will be 100% back in dollars. So the reason we've set this range showed earlier, but I'll show it up again, is if we look at the Wax P chart, you can see around 8 cents being kind of the peak for quite a while, and around 3 cents having not quite been reached yet, but like around 4 cents being the lowest point in the recent history of Wax trading. So I've set a range that basically keeps the price action within range for all of this, so that we'll, constantly be able to earn fees while also keeping our exposure to Wax set in a way that if Wax falls in value, we're buying more of it all the way down to 3 cents. Finally, we opened both of these positions today. You just saw me open the Wombat position. This is just a few Wax trying to buy back Wombat tokens. We sold these Wombat tokens today. This was our yield from our liquidity pool on Taco. So I sold those into Wax, and then I just used the Wax to basically create an order to buy them back cheaper using the liquidity pool. And then the Honey tokens, these were from last week. We still had most of the Honey side. And so because the rewards on Taco Swap, there used to be a Wax Honey pool that was being paid an incentive for people to supply liquidity. Those incentives were ending last week. So we pulled our liquidity from Taco. We took the Wax counterpart of that liquidity off of the table, and we used just the Honey tokens to create this liquidity pool. so that, as the honey tokens here, again, I'm going to toggle it so that we see it in terms of wax. As the honey token goes from being worth 2.26 wax up to 2.32 wax, we should be selling all of our honey, and then if honey falls back below, we'll be back 100% in wax. So right now we are looking to sell our honey into wax on the way up, which hopefully happens. And if not, we're not exposing any additional wax to this position. We started with only the honey we had left. And a nice part about this type of liquidity pool providing is that you don't need to expose your wax to whatever token you want to supply liquidity for. You can supply that liquidity very asymmetrically and limit your wax's exposure to these coins by setting these ranges, which you can see has been done here pretty effectively. We've put up what is this, almost $1.23 worth of honey, and it's counterparted with like 1 cent worth of wax. So we only have exposed 1 cent in wax. So that means, if honey price starts to fall, the rest of our wax will get used to buy back into honey, and then the honey will just be out of range and I'll just own the honey tokens, which I'm okay with. So that's kind of like the overview of how this whole liquidity model works. And I guess that is kind of actually all I wanted to cover. I wanted to make sure I'm doing on stream all these moves that I've been doing for a couple days. But yeah, let me jump back over to the chat here. I haven't had a chance to read what's going on, everybody. Thanks for joining me, by the way. This topic I really enjoy this, but it's definitely like kind of a complicated thing for people to wrap their head around. So I've been trying to hit this every week, every Tuesday, so that people can kind of get more and more familiar with it. Because watching me do this one time and creating a position on its own may be helpful, but it's also like a lot of information. So being able to see this play out week over week over week, and seeing how the positions that we've created actually fare in the previous week and how we should adjust them for the next week, hopefully helps to illustrate how to interact with these types of protocols. Let me see. I wonder if I can do a like a grubfish giveaway here, like what Lewis would normally do. I'm very curious how I can do that. It is like a grub fish. Yeah. See, browser game. Yeah. I'm gonna try and figure this out really quick. Let's see. Yeah. We're here. Play. Let's see. I'll get this to work. And then as a giveaway, I want to do like 100 wax for the winners here, because thanks for watching me talk about tech stuff. So let's see if I say log in. Oh, I don't know. That's not what I need to log into. I think I need to go as a streamer, right? Let's see. Stream games. Yes. Let me. Here we go. I feel like I'm on the right track. Twitch channel name. I believe it's just Yon space and T. Correct? Or is there an at? Let me double check what our. No, I don't think there's no at. I think it's just that. So let's say okay. Try it out and see if that works. If you can do a exclamation mark play, does that fill in my? Hey, it does. Look at that. Sometimes I kind of know what I'm doing. Yeah. So I'd love to use Alcor. I love to use these kind of DeFi applications, and I've been talking with the community manager at Alcor, who's also excited that I'm able to help people kind of get a better understanding of the new implementation of liquidity. So the giveaway today is sponsored by Alcor directly. They gave us some wax to give out here. So let's do like 3 giveaways, and the winner will get 100 wax for each of these. So yeah, if you wanted to join, let's see. Oh, it's not updating because I'm not on the page. So if you are typing, it does seem like it is working. Let's see, GB us. Let's see. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Cool. Yeah. Jump in the giveaway. Get yourself some wax, courtesy of Alcor. So thanks again to Alcor for sponsoring a little giveaway here. Honestly, I would cover this topic anyway. I really like this kind of stuff, and I do think it's necessary to talk about it multiple times back to back, so people can actually kind of understand, uh, why we're doing the asymmetry the way we are, why we're setting the limits the way we want. It's a very, it's kind of a deep rabbit hole, and I don't think it's realistic for anybody to be able to understand this within like one session or something. So, uh, on wax, you actually, don't pay many fees. If you have some stake in your wallet, you can go to Alcor and just play around like I did. I opened these positions with like 2.5 wax. So to kind of get a footing in this and an understanding of how to supply liquidity, the wax blockchain is kind of great. I will say the pools that have the most volume are going to be the best for you as a yield farmer. If you're trying to earn trading fees as like a way to like subsidize your wax income, using pools like TLM Wax, Brawl Wax has been pretty active. USDT, the one from EOS, not the Wax USDT, those pools have all been getting quite a bit of volume lately. But definitely TLM Wax is the king of kings when it comes to high volume in their pool. And if you want to participate in that pool, creating a liquidity position that's very tight to the current price is going to result in all of your liquidity being used as sourcing liquidity and generate the most fees for you. And then you just need to watch and make sure that as the price moves outside of your range, you just close your position, use some of that to buy back the counterpart, and then open a new position. And doing that kind of regularly, you can generate pretty ridiculously high APRs worth of fees. Like TLM, I think I was able to do something over 100% for multiple days, and it's very passive. Like I check in once a day. I guess it's not that passive. I'm checking in once a day to adjust those ranges. But yeah, either way, anyone who wants to join the giveaway right now, type !play into the wallet, into the chat, and I'm gonna start this game here in like 5 seconds, 10 seconds after I take a drink. All right, let's choose a game. I want to do Grubfish Royale. Let's see what we got. I don't think we're going to see the Neon Space Saw Blade that Lewis usually is able to pull in. But I do see a few like pink tails. That's pretty dope. Oh, DNA, you have a pink tail? Damn. I have a red one, so that's still pretty cool. But I think the pink is like the mythic. It's not really helping whoever's pink tail this was, though. It's clearly just the aesthetics, huh? Let's see who's still going here. Puzzled Puzzler spinning around. Oh, well, sorry, DNA. DNA got eaten. We got Uga still around though. Mocha Twitcher. Oh, he's gone. These comics standing. I mean, I'm gonna try to say everyone's name, so I'm not jinxing anyone specifically. Oh, right as I started saying your name, I totally jinxed you. Let's see. Jungle Banana, dude, they're coming for you, man. Oh, damn! How are you not getting, dude? It's coming for you hard. Yep. Okay, they finally got around. Oh, and it's Mocha Twitter. Nicely done. Hey, if you've not won a giveaway in the past, the way we do the giveaways is through this form. I think I can do ! form. Believe yes. So there is a form. If you haven't filled this out before, fill that out with like your wallet. And if you have filled it out before, you never have to fill it out again. We'll already have the information, but that's how I'll know who to send the 100 wax to. Um, you know, since Alcor is being very generous with sending us wax to give out to people who are watching, I'm going to do another one here. Very small crowd of competitors. So let me do a quick what's that called? Let me do a quick screenshot and write 100 wax on it so that I know to do this later. Since Lewis isn't feeling well, I'm not trying to put more stuff on his plate. So we'll do there we go. Edit, copy this. And I'm gonna paste this. I'm just gonna send this to Paul. Here we go. V. Done. All right. And we're on here. Okay, I'm gonna say play again. Let's do this one more time. Let's give away one more batch of 100 wax. So exclamation mark play in the chat. Jump in on the giveaway, courtesy of Alcor. They're helping us give away some wax here to the community. I guess I should say we usually we won't give giveaways to like multi-account wallets or people who people whose wallets are clearly bots or only sell, never buy anything. So if you do that, that's fine. Just don't enter that wallet into our giveaways. Have be an actual person and not some bot wallet. But yeah, exclamation mark play in the chat right now. Jump into the next grubfish here. I'll give away one more 100 wax today, and then I think we might have to wrap us up. Unfortunately, I'm not familiar with the rating function. I don't. Lewis is kind of like the captain of the ship, so I might just have to end the stream after this without doing a raid, unfortunately, because I kind of suck at that. But thanks for joining me anyway. I really do like to take a look at like market conditions and then dive into these kind of DeFi pools and these strategies that we can do. And I'm really excited to see Wax kind of coming into its own and having what amounts to the current meta in yield farming, which is the V3 style liquidity pools, which like the asymmetric stuff that we've been doing. And maybe after this race, I'll show off quickly what kind of like liquidity pools I get into like that across the rest of the DeFi space. Oh, it's just /raid and a username. Okay, I can do that. Let me look up a username then. Let's see who's live while this next one keeps cooking. Yeah, so still exclamation mark play in the chat. If you don't see your name popping in, it's because I have a second tab open looking up Twitch right now. And I think my screen share freezes when a different screen is open, so that's my bad. But let's see who's up right now. I could raid into show more. Let's see if I can. Here we go. I see somebody. Looks like Jungle Bry is on. I'll try and raid him. But first, okay, here we go. Updated list. But first, let's do another 100 wax giveaway. I'm doing a Grubfish Royale, and the race is off. Off to the races. Let's roll. Oh my God, DNA. First fucking guy out. Kick-ass trail, and you just got eaten. Eaten alive. Let's see. There's still a few tails. Most of them are white. See green. T with the underscores. Oh, well, I feel like maybe I should stop saying names. I'm just like jinxing the hell out of you, broadcaster curse style. I'll just say My money's on Least Comic Standing winning this one. He's gonna win it. He's taking it all the way. Oh god. Oh, way too close. I know I've totally jinxed you now, by the way. Yep. Sorry. Can't can't be helped. Let's see. Only one tail left though. Uga is gonna have to make it all the way to the end to represent the tail ownership. Oh, Zumi's got him. Looking good, Uga. Oh, why do I say your name? Puzzled Puzzler. If it kills you now, okay, good. It didn't. So the broadcaster curse is broken. You done it. Well played. Hey, Puzzled Puzzler with the win. Kick ass. All right, let me toggle really quick to just full screen myself here, and then hey, thank you guys for joining me. I'm gonna try this raid like in the chat, right? Just / raid and then space with the name. Let's see if this works. Yeah, I'm gonna hit enter. Thanks for joining me again today, guys. Right before we... Oh no, Valiant Vellum. Sorry, Priscilla. It was... Oh, let's see. Oh, I think the raid is working, maybe? I don't know. I did type / raid and then I put Jungle Brian. It like gave me a little circle and now it's disappeared and it didn't pop it into the chat. So maybe we're raiding right now. Let me give it like 10 seconds or something. I don't know. Let's see. Actually, let me see. If I check on myself, I should, if I'm just watching myself here on the other monitor, I should be able to see if we are or are not raiding. Let's see. Least Comics says not yet. Hold on. Have I done this wrong? Nope. Not working. Ooh, boo. Well, fuck. Do it with the @ symbol and then I did not use the @ symbol. Okay, let me try that again. Raid. Thanks for bearing with me and helping me with this. Raid space, and that will do @ see, this time it just added it to the chat on YouTube, but not on Twitch. So maybe it's working. Let's see. I'm going to toggle back over. Let's see. They didn't do the mirror effect. No, I didn't. Next time. Actually, not even. That's like another Lewis. Lewis is driving that one. That one's kind of tricky to do. Or wait, no, I think I could do the mirror effect. Let's see if I do this. Still no dice. You know, I'm sorry, guys. I just kind of suck at the rating thing. I'm gonna when Lewis is feeling better, I'm gonna ask him how he does it, and you know, not rely on him to do it. You don't need to look it up in real time. I'm like trying to end, and I'm just failing. I guess that's too bad that I couldn't make it work, but next time I'll figure it out. Thanks guys for joining me today though. Let's check back in on these markets next week. Again, Tuesdays, I always love to do the Tech Tuesday. Like to check in on the markets, see what we've built, see how that stuff has fared, and then see what we want to do for the coming week. Especially now with this V3 liquidity on Alcor, there's really some cool things to kind of be checking in constantly and learn as we go, because it is kind of a complicated process. But thanks again for joining me, guys. I'm going to, I guess, let's see, with no @ symbol. Okay, let me try one more time with the raid here. / raid, paste. So here's how I've punched it in. It doesn't show up on. All right, if it doesn't work this time, I'm just gonna sign off. But thank you guys so much for joining, and hopefully we can figure this shit out next time. But yeah, thanks again. See you guys.